has officially the statement put out just a few moments ago. Some of the fans that have been gathering here at a memorial that was set up.
One night in April 2021, Earl Simmons, better known in the hip-hop community by the stage name Darkman X, or DMX, lay on his deathbed in a White Plains hospital, New York, surrounded by his close friends and family members who begged for the legendary rapper to pull through and attempted to revive the rapper. Much to the joy of the paramedics, they were able to revive his heart and feel a pulse, and they immediately rushed him to White Plains Hospital to give him emergency care to save his life. About 30 minutes later, DMX's family and the paramedics arrived at the hospital, where he was disturbingly pronounced brain dead. According to several reports, a narcotics overdose was suspected to be the cause of the heart attack, but at that point, the exact cause had not yet been officially confirmed. The next day, Murray Richmond, DMX's attorney of more than 25 years, announced that he did not yet know what the cause of the heart attack was, and that they were all very worried for the rapper's health.
Being in the hospital as a result of a heart attack. He has been taken off life support system and he's breathing on his own. But we are concerned. It would be disingenuous of me to suggest that I'm not a worried man at this particular point.
That night, Simmons suffered from cerebral hypoxia, a lack of oxygen to the brain. Although paramedics tried once again to resuscitate him, they were unsuccessful. Shortly after, Nikia Walker, DMX's former manager, stated that the rapper was in a vegetative state due to lung and brain failure. On Monday, April 5th, 2021, a vigil was held for DMX outside of the hospital where he was being treated. During the vigil, his family stated, "We ask that you please keep Earl and us in your thoughts, wishes, and prayers, as well as respect our privacy as we face these challenges."
And Charlene and Joe, this is the news that fans had been dreading all week, as DMX, who had been on life support, has officially statement put out just a few moments ago. Some of the fans that have been gathering here at a memorial that was set up, unaware of this news, they've been coming to sign messages of support throughout the week. And in fact, there was a prayer vigil held here earlier this week.
On Tuesday, April 6th, DMX fell into a coma and was subject to brain function tests to determine if anything could be done to bring him back. But unfortunately, his brain was irreparably damaged, and all that was left was for the family to decide when to disconnect him from life support. 3 days later, on the evening of Friday, April 9th, exactly 1 week after being hospitalized, DMX's closest family members and friends sat around his hospital bed, praying for a miracle. According to DJ Superior, a close friend of DMX who was present during his final hours, one of the rapper's uncles kneeled by the comatose artist and told him, "You don't gotta go yet." It was a heartbreaking scene, and one during which everyone present prayed that the iconic rapper would pull through. But later that evening, he was disconnected from life support and was no longer with us. After the tragic passing, a source from the Westchester County Medical Examiner's office, which induced a heart attack that caused a lack of blood circulation to the rapper's brain. Shortly after, his family announced his passing in a statement saying, "Earl was a warrior who fought to the very end. He loved his family with all of his heart, and we cherish the times we spent with him." News of the rapper's passing spread quickly and sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community.
How did y'all react when DMX passed away? I didn't know too much about him. I heard like the Rough Riders and everything, but that was about it. I didn't know really too much about him, man. I was sad when he died.
Immediately, hundreds of famous rappers, artists, friends, and people close to DMX took to social media to share their condolences and expressed their support for the rapper's family. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of the incident was that DMX didn't have a will and had 15 children with multiple different women.
DMX had 15 kids? Our boy was pulling a young boy cheese.
One of whom was his fiancée, Desiree Lindstrom, who would inherit nothing from the late artist despite having spent 7 years of her life with him. The court case for the rapper's estate is ongoing to this day. On April 24th, a memorial was held for DMX in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. In preparation for the service, streets were closed to make way for the monster truck that would carry DMX's casket. A choir performed several songs at the ceremony, after which several of DMX's kids took to the stand to make heartfelt speeches in honor of the memory of their father. One of his sons, Xavier, who was 28 years old at the time, said, "Our father is a king. Our father is an icon. I am so honored to have a father like we have." After the memorial, which was attended by celebrities and artists such as Jay-Z, Beyonce, Fabulous, Swiss Beats, and the Rough Riders, DMX was laid to rest in the Oakland Cemetery in Yonkers, New York. Despite Simmons' lifelong battle with weakness, it always seemed to fans that he would eventually find his way to peace, good health, and sobriety. Throughout his career, he had checked himself into becoming better multiple times, demonstrating his commitment to his long-term health. Just days before the heart attack that ultimately claimed his life, DMX uploaded a video to social media in which he could be seen dancing along to the Jackson 5's The Place Hotel in the car, and he seemed in very good spirits. Despite his abrupt and terrible passing, Darkman X has left an unparalleled legacy in the music industry, and his contributions to rap molded the very essence of hip-hop in the late 90s and early 2000s. Throughout his entire career, which spanned more than 3 decades, he came to embody the values he so boldly defended: honesty, authenticity, and raw passion, which he transmitted so powerfully by virtue of his gruff, unique voice. To this day, very few rappers have been able to achieve what DMX did. He's the only rapper to have his first 5 studio albums debut at #1, and he was the first living hip-hop artist to have 2 albums go platinum within the same year. Throughout his career, he sold over 74 million copies of his albums. From the very start of his career, it became clear that DMX would be an extremely successful artist. His 1998 debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, sold over 5 million copies. Over the next few years, he would go on to release some of the most influential albums and singles of the generation. In 1999, he released his critically acclaimed album, And Then There Was X, which included the hit single, Party Up, a track that has been streamed over 300 million times on Spotify as of 2023. His 2003 hit single, X Gon' Give It To You, remains his most famous song to this day, with close to 700 million streams on Spotify. At the time of his passing, DMX was working on a new album, which was just 2 songs from being completed. Had he had the time to release it, it would have been his first official album of new material since 2012. When talking about how excited he was about the fact that so many incredible artists, including Usher, Lil Wayne, even Bono of U2, were contributing to his comeback album, he said, "I'm almost overwhelmed by how people are not only excited by this project, but wanting to be a part of it. It's sad to know that he never got to enjoy his album's success, which he had worked so firm and solid for. However, the album Exodus was still released posthumously and achieved a respectable 32,000 sales in its first week. The project consisted of 13 tracks and had 21 collaborations across the whole project. Despite his professional successes, no tribute to Darkman X would be complete without remembering his personal and professional struggles. After all, Earl Simmons was a man of many contradictions, which was part of his allure as an artist. In the late 90s, DMX garnered as much media attention for his albums as he did for his infamous run-ins with the law, to which he faced charges ranges from animal cruelty to dope possession to carjacking. He would often rap about these incidents, which brought a layer of complexity to his lyrics that few other rappers have ever achieved. Although his passing was tragic, it's undeniable that DMX's music has continued to influence a new generation of rappers who have inspired themselves on his raw passion and honesty. In addition to his professional successes, Earl Simmons could be commemorated on a personal level for having the humility and strength to commit to his sobriety during his lifelong battle against his weakness, which ultimately claimed his life. May his story serve as an inspiration for those going through similar circumstances, and may his music and legacy live on.